Welcome to this instructional video on how to erect the miracle tent on the Middleton block for the annual tent meeting. First of all, you need to unpack the container, remove all the chairs and get all the equipment out, and hopefully somebody has already marked out the tent site from the surveyor's pegs, which have been kindly donated by one of our friends last year, and so it makes it much easier to get started if the tent site has been marked out with the pink surveyor's paint. You'll see in this next little clip in the foreground the pink marks. That's where the tent pegs will be going as soon as these carpets have been rolled out. What you see here is an outline of the miracle tent plan on the ground. It's also it shows you that there are 4 panels, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These will come out of the container in green bags numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you place the green bags on this side near the container in that position 1, 2, 3 and 4, it will help with the unfolding of them. These 2 panels are rectangular panels, and of course the other 2 are semicircular, and they're the biggest and heaviest. Before the tent goes out, the land is marked. There are surveyor's pegs at these crosses. See these crosses here? There's 4 down the centre and 2 on each side. They're in the ground somewhere there. You need to find them, and that will give you the dimensions of the tent. Then from this point here, you run a string out 45 feet, and then at every 7 foot 5 inches you put a mark on the ground with a paint marker. In the semicircular they're 7 feet 5 inches apart. Along the straight here they're only 6 feet apart. So remember that you want a mark on the ground every 6 feet along the straights, but every 7 foot 5 inches around the radiuses. The central pole doesn't have a surveyor's peg there, but you'll find that's where there was a big steel peg placed last year, so that's the centre pole. So having marked out the entire ground and put a red cross at every point where a tent peg goes, that makes it much easier for construction, and that can be done the day or 2 before the tent is erected. Overall dimensions, these are 24 foot wide, these central panels. They're 45 feet to the centre, 90 feet across. The radius is 90 feet. So here's the flagpole down here on the church block, and that's the direction of the ocean, or the southerly direction. This is sort of north here. The wind generally comes from this direction, so we've got it worked out so the opening, the entrance to the tent is in this corner of the tent. So there's the plan. All you need is someone to go there a day or 2 ahead of the construction of the site to mark this out with surveyor's spray paint that you pick up at Bunnings for about $7 a can. You'll need probably 2 cans for the whole mark out job. So now we'll show you some footage of how the rest of the tent is constructed, and hopefully if anything happens to me, then someone can step into my shoes and continue to do this work. This work was first done for RAF by Fraser from Canberra, who used to fly over each year and fly back to help put the tent up and help take it down. But now he's passed his knowledge on to me, and I'm going to pass it on to you or anyone else who wants to step up into the role of the tent master for the miracle tent. You know, we can all learn each year how to do it better and make it much a quicker and smoother operation. So there's the plan. Let's now go to the video clips. This is how we used to mark out the tent peg positions. On the day we would run a string out and mark the spot with little smaller tent pegs for the big pegs to follow. But now that's done the day before with the pink paint. It's making it much easier. A tent peg is delivered to every pink mark around the circumference of the tent, and the stronger men are issued hammers and a triangular guide so that the tent pegs go in always at the same angle, 45-degree angle, so they'll take the strain of the heavy ropes on the tent. The next job is to bring out the tall central pillars for the tent, the 3 centre poles. They're all the same height, and place them on wooden blocks in the centre of the ground. Now it's time to bring the green bags out and place them on the site. The green bags are all numbered 1 to 4, and the ones with the square on them are the central pieces, and the one with the semicircular on are the end pieces. Put them on the boundary nearest to the container for unfolding with ease. Number 1 goes nearest to the flagpole, number 4 goes nearest to the road and the ocean. When taking the canopies outside of the bags, make sure they're placed so that the little green veranda stays near the boundary, and the centre pins taken towards the central poles. This was not done in the above movie clip, and they then had to relocate the canopy so that it was in the right position. When all the 4 canopies have been stretched out on the ground and in position, they should be on top of the 3 large central poles. Then comes the important job of lacing all the seams together using a special little hand hook. You grab those loops of rope and pull them tight, and then hook the one into the other until the whole tent has been stitched together. It takes a little team and all busy working, and then it's done. Have someone with soft footwear check every position where an intermediate pole goes to make sure there is a rope hanging underneath the canopy at every intermediate pole position. Sometimes these are taken out when the tent comes down. They should be left there. If one is found to be missing, then get a spare rope and poke it through the holes so that when the intermediate poles go up from underneath, there will be something to tie it onto. A very important structural feature at every of the 3 centre poles, there's a little hook under that black square there that needs to be hooked onto the steel ring before they are bolted together, and that gives us much more strength at the top of the tent. There are 3 flag poles that can be fixed to the 3 central poles before the tent is finally erected. This needs to be done before all the outside poles go on so that you can get back off the tent canopy. When the canopy is all laced up, you need to tie all the ropes to the tent pegs around the perimeter. This is how you do that. Take the rope around the peg once, around twice, and then into the top little rabbit hole. Pull it tight. That's your tent peg hitch. When all the ropes have been attached to the tent pegs, it's now time to take the white poles and put the perimeter poles in, and making sure that they all cross over as seen in the video here. This enables them to be tightened later as they are stood up erect.
No, go around. So, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, we use them to tighten later.
Yeah, you tighten them up later.
When all the tent pegs are tied and the white poles are around the perimeter, it's compulsory to stop and have a cup of tea and a little bit of fellowship time before the big heave to get the canopy up on the central poles. That's the one Raph put up. Any message for the press, sir?
Repent. And be saved.
After morning tea, it's back to the canopy where we move in underneath it and try to start lifting it up with the intermediate poles. Now, an intermediate pole is first taken to its pressure point, and there should be a rope there that is tied into the top of the pole, looped through and tied on the pole. This eventually stops the wind lifting the canopy off the pole and having the pole rubbed through the canvas or the surface of the tent.
Those rods around, see your pushers, turn those pushers around there, right, so that they actually lay in, underneath? Yeah, underneath the thing, yeah, that's it. Jimmy, in there, because you never get them out otherwise. Okay, now just lift up a bit.
You don't have to go all the way. You just have to get them.
Yeah, we just lost it. That's why I say we shouldn't tie it.
Tie it.
Tie it down here now.
Tie it down before it goes further.
Yeah, but we have to re-tie it
Yeah,
up.
later,
Yeah, I reckon we need to hold that. That clip needs to go on.
No, none of them have got clips. That's the only one with a clip.
That's the only one with a clip.
These ropes need to be tense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to slip.
Yeah.
It's going to slip up.
There's 2 pushes required each side of the intermediate pole on the top, just to help push it up and take the pressure off the centre of the pole, and so you go right around the whole tent, pushing these intermediate poles higher and higher, and until eventually they're all up. Then it's time to think about the centre poles and lifting them. So you can see the importance of having those ropes at the top of these intermediate poles. Tie them down tight to the pole before the wind does any damage. When all the intermediate poles or quarter poles are up, or they're not fully up yet, but that's when you can start lifting the centre poles. Now this is done in gradual stages. Don't try to lift them to the vertical position straight away. Just bring them halfway and get them all halfway before you then go back and start raising them even further.
Go to the outside one again.
We got a flag on the roof. Yeah, I reckon go to the outside.
One step to the other side. There's always one.
Oh, you were on the outside last one.
That's why we went up. Push!
Let's do the center one.
It's a 7 in that.
Like a whip thing.
I heard that. Slap. I know how to get it moving, mate. poles fall on.
I can't stand this. He's facing the rest of it. It's the only one. I come out! Don't push! Go! There's two on that side. That's all we need.
Thank you, Jesus! Thank you, Lord!
At this stage the canopy is up, but it is very loose and it needs a lot of work to straighten it up and tighten it up. So from this point on we start to secure the canopy in the sky. Slacken the perimeter poles, get a few blokes, pull on the ropes, get them tight and retie it, then straighten up the perimeter pole, and that will take up the tension.
Okay, now this goes up now. Right, so.
Once the tent is tight, now it's time to get the white bags out and unravel the walls, hook the walls up, make sure you leave room for the main entrance and the entrance for the stage and sound people. Then it's time to assemble the stage platform, roll out carpet, cover the floor, bring in the children's ministry cage area, and then start hanging banners both on the outside of the tent and on inside the tent. Assist the electrician where possible to roll out the cables and get ready for the lighting and the sound, and set up the sound desk. In 2011, Louis, Raff's brother and Alan put together an extension to the sound desk that we borrow from the Church of Christ in Goolwa. There's still plenty to be done, shifting pews and chairs from the hut and from the container down the bottom end of the paddock, and setting them up in the tent, making adequate room for aisles, and leaving a track for the sound engineer to put his cables down under the carpet through to the stage.